We are tied up in Hammond, Indiana on about day 3 or 4 of our loop. We have to wait here for a while, and we're tied up, and there's 28, 30, 35 mile an hour winds coming in right up the back. We've got the canvas top tied down because it's hopping all over the place. We have put double lines on everything we could. It is just brutal. Kind of difficult to see through the rain coming down, but that rock wall, that break wall behind us, this is the stern of Andromeda. That break wall behind us is all that's separating us from about 11 to 12 foot waves out on Lake Michigan. Not much I can do about the video, but that is the proximity to the lake, and that wind is coming directly at us. So the canvas is shaking, the boat is rocking. They are floating docks. So all the boats in the marina are bouncing and swaying, and we're just hoping the docks hold. So we're stuck here in Hammond, Indiana. We're at the Hammond Port Authority. It's a really large marina just east of the mouth of the Cal Sag, where we will enter the river system. And we are stuck here for about 6-8 days. Not bad. There's plenty of amenities. There's tons of loopers around, so it's pretty cool, other than there are a couple of bad weather days. And this thing is not necessarily exposed, but it is right in the gut of Lake Michigan wind. The reason we're stuck here is there are 3 locks as you enter the river system that were under repair all summer, and they're slowly opening those back up. There's backlogged commercial traffic and backlogged recreational traffic, including the loopers. So they're trying to stage us down the river, and everyone asked, why'd we get down here so fast? Well, the weather was closing, and we left late in the season, and we had to get from Ludington to Hammond, and we did that in 2 days with a weather window because we knew this storm was right behind it. So that's why we're here. Today's going to be a tense day. I'm watching Lake Michigan just behind the camera here, and she is not happy today. I mean, there's waves crashing over break walls. I'm going to say it's easily 10-foot waves. I know some are bigger, and I hate to over-exaggerate the waves, but we're stuck here in Hammond. I don't say stuck, we're with a ton of loopers, and it's not a bad place to be, especially on a nice day. But right now, this particular Saturday and the next 4 to 5 hours are going to be critical. It's not enjoyable, it's tense. We're worried about lines, we're worried about damage to the boat, we're worried about the docks breaking loose. It's intense, and we're anxious for these winds to die down.
Marina, game day, I'm representing. Much calmer today.
Well, the clouds are starting to break up and the winds are dying down. There's still probably about 15 knots, but there's a little section of beach here right next to the marina, just east of the marina's break wall. And we thought we'd take Ollie out for a run and stretch our legs after being pinned down in the boat all day yesterday.
Well, it's like day 5 or 6, still stuck here in Hammond. I say stuck was just because we'd rather be floating down the river, but we are making the best of it, doing little projects, getting laundry done, getting some more groceries. We did do a lot of Amazon stuff, of course, 2 days out, and here's everything we forgot, so we put a list together. So it's been okay to sort of hurry up and get here and wait. But today my friend Scott from Sully Does the Loop is on his way over, and we are gonna use the equipment that we have to best calculate our air drafts. So that's the height of the very highest point of the boat above the water line. We did use some survey equipment to calculate Andromeda, but Scott wanted to calculate his, so we're gonna go down and work on Dreamer and see if we can't calculate his, and we're just gonna sort of double check Andromeda's to make sure it's the right height. We don't want to get down the river and get to a bridge we can't get under. Here's me and Scott with our technical equipment. We have a bolt pole, a tape measure, a level, and some duct tape. We determined Andromeda. The surveyors were correct, 17.6, and now we're going to measure Dreamer, see what she measures. Stand on the sidewall or something? I know the owner of this boat is going to kick your ass if you scuff it. I know.
179.
Well, that was pretty successful. We measured Dreamer's air draft to 16'7", and like I said, Andromeda came in right where we thought it did on the survey we had done. So we got some friends heading through Chicago now, and they're getting back to us that about 17.9 would get under the bridge, and that's 3 inches for us, so I'm just not going to risk it, but you never know. Well, still kind of stuck here down in Hammond. I say stuck here, it's not like it's terrible, but we've been here longer than we were thinking we would be, and getting ready to leave tomorrow. And we were so fortunate last night, one of our good friends, Eric, stopped by. He was working in the area, so he stopped down to the marina. We had a good time, some laughs last night. He stayed the night on the boat before he's got to head back up to Ludington. So it was nice to have our first visitor on the loop, and we had a great time. Well, it's day 3 or 4 or 5 or something here at Hammond Marina. Weather's finally decent. The sun is out and the wind laid down, so going over to help my friend Scott on Dreamer, head over to the fuel docks and get him pumped out and topped off, because we are going to leave here in a couple days to head on down the river. So head to the fuel docks now with Scott. That's Dreamer there, and Captain Scott getting ready to head over to the fuel docks. And that is just a beautiful boat. Krogan Express 55, and Hopefully he lets us get a boat tour here one of these days, because it's a beauty. Smile, Sully. Let's back up a minute. This year, 2023, unlike other years, there were 3 major locks along the route as we entered the river system that had been shut down for repairs for months. The Brandon Road Lock, the Dresden Island Lock, and the Marseilles Lock. These locks were scheduled to open on September 30th. These closures created a backlog of commercial and recreational boat traffic on the Illinois waterway.
The AGLCA, the American Great Loop Cruisers Association, worked with the Corps of Engineers to arrange a schedule to get this year's loopers through the 3 locks at scheduled times, to ease the backlog and confusion as well as minimize delays for commercial barge traffic.
We were assigned to flotillas, and those flotillas were assigned dates to pass through the 3 repaired locks. With careful route planning, the Brandon Road Lock, the Dresden Island Lock, and the Marseilles Lock can be completed in one travel day. We were assigned to Flotilla 21, meaning October 21st was our date to pass through the 3 locks. Easy so far, right? Sort of.
We had already set our firm departure date from home. We had planned on slowly making our way south along the Lake Michigan shoreline, visiting different ports we had never seen before, and visiting friends along the way in some of those ports. Then arriving in Hammond to stage with our flotilla to enter the river systems. Unfortunately, Mother Nature had different plans for us, and so did the Army Corps. There were a few high wind, high wave weather systems rolling in back to back with just a few calm days between systems. And to add to the confusion, before we could even cast the lines, the Corps delayed the lock openings by 5 days.
Here's where it gets good. Flotilla 21 was now scheduled for the 26th. Then during the high wind system in Hammond, the AGLCA added another 3 days of delays as some of the boats could not get from Hammond to the mouth of the Cal Sag on their assigned day. Flotilla 21, that had become Flotilla 26, was now Flotilla 29, but still called Flotilla 21 or 41 or 39 or whatever. It was getting confusing.
Each flotilla by design had about 15 slots per flotilla. After the second delay, flotilla hopping became a real issue. Many loopers, including us, started swapping flotilla slots or jumping from one flotilla to another. A handful of loopers just went rogue and headed down the river without an assigned flotilla with varying levels of success.
We had always targeted the 21st. Many of our plans revolved around that date, and although it wasn't critical, we wanted to try to hold to it. We were fortunate to find an empty slot in Flotilla 13 that was supposed to originally lock through on the 13th, which of course became the 18th, then turned into the 21st. Get it? Easy, right?
Our time in Hammond was coming to an end, and our new flotilla date was approaching. We got quite a bit done in Hammond, including some deliveries and provisioning. We made some new friends, and as we watched the other flotillas leave each morning, we knew we were ready to leave Hammond, Indiana behind and start our journey down the rivers.